Hey Jaans, my name is Shambhavi and today I created this Deepika's Can makeup look on my very beautiful model. To see how I created this look, let's roll into the main content.
First things first is skincare. I'll tone her skin a little bit with this Biotique toner to close her pores and make her skin more hydrated. Then I'll spray some gulab gel onto her skin for some refreshment. And then I'll use a serum as a thin moisturizer on the areas where she's gonna sweat a lot. So keeping a thin moisturizer will help the makeup to stay for a longer period of time. Next, I'll use a thick moisturizer on the perimeter of her face so that the makeup will glide on easily onto her skin, and whatever is left, I'll spread it all over her face and massage it really well into her skin. Just a little bit of blood flow will help her skin to glow a lot. Next, I'll use a pore minimiser primer onto her nose where she has a little bit of pores, and I'll rub it into her skin. This is the correct way of using a pore minimiser primer. Next, I'll use silicone based primer to tackle creasing issue. I'll use it onto the areas where she will express her face a lot, like smile lines, under the eyes and forehead. In pictures, I can see Deepika has very beautiful glow from within kind of skin. So I'm going for that. I'll use the illuminator onto her nose, chin, cheeks and onto her forehead a little bit because she has really beautiful dewy skin. Her face looked really glowy and dewy whenever she turned her face in any possible angle. I'll use my finger for this highlighter application because the warmth of your finger will melt the product into the skin and make it look very seamless and natural. Next, I'll use a very sheer coverage foundation. I'll use very tiniest amount of this foundation and spread it really well into her skin, buffing and blending with the kabuki brush. I just want this yellow tone from this foundation, and then I'll mix it with pink tone foundation to make the perfect olive tone base for her skin. You'll see I just used the tinsiest amount of this foundation and just buffing and blending, buffing and blending. You can see it has no coverage at all. I can say that it has no coverage right now. And her skin also doesn't need much, so I'm not giving it too much because it's just gonna cake up. Next, I'll use this Kryolan shade number D4, which has the pinkish tone in it, and it is actually a very full highest of the highest coverage it has. So I'm going to use very tiniest amount of this, like very tiny amount of it, just for the undertone and a bit of coverage. You will see at the end it will look perfect. I mean, it's look perfect on her skin. And she actually has very beautiful face. I just can't take my eyes off her. Next, I'll use this very nice medium coverage stretchy concealer. It has yellow tone in it. It will cancel out any darkness around the eyes and the mouth really easy. And I'll use a very little bit of it because she didn't need that much. She didn't have any kind of darkness. Just tinsive it, which we have normally because of continuously watching phones, using phones at night, watching television, and not so good care of our health. I'll brighten up her under eye by using very light shade of loose powder and to catch any fallout from the shadows. Also, I'll bake a little bit to make her under eyes crease proof. And whatever is left, I'll use it onto the mobile lid and on the smile lines. I'll use this nknine mocha mix palette. I'll use this warm brown shade onto the crease. Actually, this palette is becoming my obsession. No matter what the look I'm going for, I always pick this palette. That's how much I love the shades and the tone of this palette. I'm just puffing and blending onto the crease very lightly and gently. Then I'll take this reddish brown shade, I'll buff it onto the crease for that hint of fragile look. And the same color I'll use it onto the lower lash line. And buff it with a fluffy brush to increase the density and intensity of the color. Next, I'll use this champagne shade shimmer onto the lids. It will pop her eyes a little bit more. Deepika has the same sheen onto her eyes, which looked very beautiful, elegant, simple yet classy. I'll dust off the baking and whatever is left into the brush, I'll spread it onto the smile lines and cheeks. A little bit onto forehead and everywhere else. Next, I'll do a very thin, precise wing eyeliner. Sorry for this footage, I'm way too much into my work, so I think most of the camera captured my face, my hair, nothing about what I did. I'm so sorry for this footage. Next, I'll contour her face really well because you can actually see Deepika's contoured structure very clearly. So I'll go a little bit harsher with the contour under the cheekbone. Jawline. She has actually really beautiful jawline, I must say. I too love this contour shade very much because it is very close to Benefit Hoola bronzer, which is very costly and it cost about like 400 or less than that because it comes in palette, and that palette costs like 400 rupees only. Next, I'll use this sugar bronzer. I'll bronze her skin, especially on her forehead. It is nice idea to bronze onto the forehead, not to sculpt, because naturally we get tan on our forehead. And now I'll sculpt her nose quite bit harsh, I mean really harsh, but I'll blend it really well so it won't show too harsh, but still it will show up like she has really structured nose. Next, I'll drape the blush. What I mean draping is I'm using blush just onto the contour, not using anything onto the apple. Draping, you have to drape the blush with the contour to make it seem like it has a contoured blush. Next, I'll use the setting mist and melt the powder into her skin. I'll use some powder highlight to add the glow and the longevity of the product. I want her skin to be very dewy, fresh and yummy, just dripping in yum. Because Deepika has very brown eyebrows, so I'm adding some brown tint to her brows, but she didn't needed it, so I'm trying to use it very less just for the hint of brown. And I brush it with the clean spoolie to subtract some extra. I'll use this cherry brown shade and outline with this. I'll overline a little bit. I'm so sorry my camera stopped filming. The main part of this video was the bold red lip, but I'll explain it to you what I did. I just outlined with this color, and the second color I used is from lip liner, which was royal red. I used that lip color like a lipstick, and that's it. That's all what I did. Also, I applied some mascara and added little bit of lashes just on the outer corner of her eyes. I just used this color as a lipstick. I'm so sorry that my camera didn't film the main part of this video, but I hope you all find it helpful. See you all in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.